Ministers are scarce. We say, no, there are hundreds of thousands of ministers. No. True biblical ministers are scarce. Job 33 says, if there is a messenger for him, a mediator, one among 1,000. 1 in 1,000. That means he's a pretty qualified person. When you watch those reality shows, I mean, everybody has seen things like American Idol and The Voice, and at one point or another for a moment, millions of dollars, millions of people watching, thousands and thousands and thousands come to audition to find one. Only one. Put it to theoretical use and gather up 1,000 ministers in your area. I don't know how many states that would cover, or if you're in a smaller country, how that might involve the entire country. Gather up 1,000 ministers from your local area, and you can find one that can show a man his sin, or the ability to gain righteousness, uprightness before God. That basically cancels out most people in the pulpit today. The minister who is 1 in 1,000, pause, ask yourself that question if you're a minister. I think, you're thinking this, am I 1 in 1,000? He has to embrace a comprehensive view of Scripture in its doctrinal light, in its practical obligation in the life of the church, and in its experimental influence. Charles Bridges, in a work that you should read on pastoral ministry, it's called The Christian Ministry, by the way. Charles Bridges wrote it. It's a famous work. Banner of Truth published a condensed version of it, but the 700-page version is free online. Google it. He quotes Hinton, another minister, saying, "It will not fail to be objective." And this is what you're thinking right now on the whole 1 in 1,000 idea. "It will not fail to be objective that if none were to be admitted into the ministry except those who are possessed of every necessary qualification, well, there could not possibly be procured a sufficient number of pastors for the supply of our churches." Are you not thinking that? What are we going to do if it's really 1 in 1,000 and we have to eject 999 of them out of their pulpits because they aren't qualified? There isn't a sufficient supply of pastors for the supply of our churches. To which, Hinton says, I answer that a small number of chosen pastors is preferable to a multitude of unqualified teachers. Is that the way that you think? Since good ministers are so scarce, we must all learn to pray heartily. Pray that the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. Why? Because ministers, as Job 33 says, and there's no reason why it's not literal. Read William Perkins, The Art of Faithful Preaching and the Calling of the Ministry, and he will show you that ministers are 1 in 1,000